One, two, one, two.
It's all about experience. It's to feel the adrenaline running through our veins. Like all the things we do that excite us. Whatever world we come from or live in, there are people that are born to succeed. They're called special, to hustle every day for an opportunity of a lifetime. Looking for the challenge to shape our future is something that's in our DNA. A privilege just available for a few. Traders, we see things differently, paying attention to every small detail that would maybe go unnoticed by the common eye. On or by the edge is our playground, with a constant strive for glory, seeking for a new tomorrow. Do you feel special? Take back control of your investments.
One, two, one, two. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, good morning, Thomas.
Good morning, David.
Good
How you
morning,
doing?
David. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Excellent.
How's your car doing?
212. What's up, Thomas?
3434. How you doing, guys?
I'm fine, in here, bro.
It's a boring day today.
It is. Already got it. 3 stop loss.
Gold. Yeah, gold closed me out yesterday as well. Kartik, mute your mic. I did it for you. Anyway, so let's have a look what's on the plate for today. I'm gonna mute everyone. Feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, so what do we know about today? What is the 2 or 3 news that's driving the market right now?
That selling.
CPI.
Anything else?
Well, today we got the FOMC meeting.
Yeah, probably the meeting minutes is one of the important things of the day, but we also have the Yellen speech, Treasury Secretary Yellen speech at 4 o'clock, 5 minutes past 4 o'clock Central European time, so just under 2 hours away. Before that, we have Bank of England, Governor Bailey speaking. Most likely he's going to mention a few things about the disappointing inflation data that just came out this morning. I had a good buy on the CPI data because it came out freaking inflationary. If you look at the data, core CPI, where are you, core CPI? There you go, 1.3 month on month versus 0.9. The leading inflation, 6.8. No, that's core CPI. Where's the CPI? It actually came in CPI. It was a bit mixed. But anyway, core inflation is more important because that excludes food and energy. Other than that, we don't have much in the calendar today. So what does it leaves us with if we have no quantitative data today?
No trading.
Yeah, I can live with that. But why?
I mean, there's no point in forcing anything. Market is clearly it's consolidating. So what's the point of entering. And if we do enter, it just means bigger SL, smaller risk.
Yeah, I agree with Andrew for the reasons I always say, that if there is no data, anything is possible. You have to separate data and news, and you have to be really selective with the kind of news and data you're trading. And if you look at the major finance newspapers and all of the news sources, there's not much happening in financial markets right now. The biggest story is, of course, around the debt ceiling, and it seems like that the discussions are going to be taken to the very last hour before the US is defaulting on its debt. Who knows, when is the date when they are likely to default on the repayment of the debt, on the bonds? Is it a month, 2 months,
I think he's in a month. No,
2 days?
in June.
Well, June.
Next week.
It's next week is June, brother.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, really? Fuck.
6 months into 2023. How fucking scary is that? Half of the year is gone. 6 months is gone. So yeah, next week, if they don't come up with a solution, if they don't agree, Republicans and the other one, Joe Biden, they're going to default on the debt. How many times it happened in history when the US defaulted in its debt?
0.
De nada. 0. None. But the problem is that, we all know that they're not going to default on the debt. We all know that it will happen. And even Joe Biden and the other guy he's talking to ruled out the possibility the US is going to default. But we still have 1 freaking week. And most likely, these fucker politicians are going to take every minute, every hour, and they're going to leave us, hang out dry with the discussions. And there's no solution. Every single day, seems like the talks are going well, gold starts to fall. And then the next day, bit of bump up, retest, and now it's going higher again, because there is no resolution. There seems to be no resolution, seems to be no hope. They're going to agree that they should raise the debt ceiling. We know they're going to raise it, but right now they say, there is, discussions aren't going too well. And what is one of the purposes of gold? Inflation hedging, right? But inflation is doing okay. I mean, the Fed seems to contain that. We still have a stubbornly high inflation, but now it's under 5%. So if you rule out the inflation, what other purpose gold has?
Jewelry.
Was that?
Jewelry.
Yeah, okay. But historically, gold is a safe haven asset, right? So when things go south and sour, is a safe haven. And right now, are the talks going well with the debt ceiling?
Not much.
Yeah, not much.
No, not much. They probably sinking in the White House and just wanking each other. So hence, investors, the narrative is that things aren't going too well, so it keeps investors and traders worried. And when they worry, what's the first thing that they're going to escape the money to? Which asset?
Gold.
Gold, innit, bruv?
Yes, brother.
Gold. Now, if you look at the gold chart on the 4-hour time frame, well, you can go on daily or 8-hour, whichever you prefer. But what we see is pretty much a consolidation. On the 4-hour chart, it's up and down, but it moves between almost the all-time high, so it's quite a big range. It seems to be returning back to the median, which is just around 2,000. And then it drops and it goes higher, then drops again. So it's been moving sideways, which is really annoying. But let me show you something. If you go on the daily chart or the weekly, probably some better representation.
Above the consolidation, yeah.
Yeah, you see, this is consolidation. It's pretty fucking big because it's 150, 200 pip wide. But historically, if you look back, how many times gold consolidated for weeks and even months? Many times. You can see on the chart, we have one right here, one here. We have consolidation all over the place. So it's nothing new under the sun. Gold does it all the time for weeks. It is annoying because it's difficult to trade, but sooner or later it's going to break out, and when it does, and it's going to move most likely thousands of pips. So we just have to wait out. Going back to the debt talks, the debt ceiling talks, as the US is going to default or not on its debt. Right now there's no solution. If there's no solution, gold is going up, because there's no news, it's bad news on the debt ceiling. When someone owes you money and you don't hear anything, that's bad news. Otherwise, no news is good news, but in this scenario, it's bad news. So most likely, if we have no news, we have no information about how the talks are going, whether they come to an agreement or not, gold is going to continue a little higher. Now, would I buy right now? No. What is the reason for that?
You're buying the high.
Too buy, too high.
Yes.
Too risky to sell.
No, we're just in between, or we're just under the weekly pivot. Just under the weekly pivot. We have very strong resistance level, which was broken through the middle of May, and we had a nice 300 pip drop, then retest again, and we had this sell yesterday or the day before, which was pretty good. There was 250 pips, and now it came back to retest it. It can retest multiple times. There is no rule how many times, but you know, because we have no news on the debt ceiling, it could break the resistance. And I guarantee that many people now are selling, which they could be right. I'm tempted to sell, but the problem is that it lines up with the daily R2 and the pivot. And if you look left, very strong consolidation. And this was the price level, ladies and gentlemen, which was broken out, you know, this upward sending channel. So fundamentally speaking, on the macroeconomic side, there is nothing, there is no resolution now on the debt ceiling, so it's bullish for gold. On the inflation story, the UK just printed a high inflation, that was bearish for gold. We had a bit of a drop, not much. It seems like that the fear narrative is taking over the market, hence gold is going higher. Technically speaking, it's more likely looking for a sell. Which one would I decide, or which one would I choose? Technicals or fundamentals? Which one would you choose? Technicals or fundamentals?
Combine.
Fundamental first, then technical.
Mm-hmm.
Fundamentals have short-term effects, but good effect. But even technical, this is the W pattern. We're at the neckline of the W pattern. If it breaks up, it goes up to the end of the line. Non-stop.
I'm going to enter into buy on gold because the fundamentals, there is no news on the debt ceiling. On the technical side, it looks like a sell, but how many times, you know, it looked like a sell or a buy, but the fundamentals told you different, or told me different. So I try to, I always have a plan, because when you look at the markets and when everything is confusing, so freaking confusing that you look at the news, then you come to an analysis that, oh, it's a buy, then you look at the technicals, it's a sell. Then I always listen to, Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello, beautiful.
Gold buy or sell?
Gold buy or sell. And you are being watched by 300 people.
300 people watching. Yeah.
Hi guys.
Hey. What's your name?
Hi.
They don't hear me, right?
No, they hear you.
We can hear
They
you.
hear you.
What's your
They can
name?
hear you. 1 second.
Only 3 people watching, right?
300.
300.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Hello. How you doing?
Hello. I'm okay. How are you?
Very good. What's your name?
Jania.
Genia. My name is Tomasz. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm
Where you from? What language do you speak?
I'm Russian. I'm Russian.
На здоровье, товарищ.
Yeah.
Спасибо. Ah,
Where are
no.
you? Where are you located?
I'm in Pipland. So, we're just deciding about whether to buy or sell gold. What do you think?
I was asking where you're from.
Where I'm
Said
from?
people.
Pipland, yeah. Hungary.
It's Hungary. So how many people watch me now?
Right now, 307 people.
Oh, you didn't like me.
I really like you. Why I need to like you?
So you want to ask me any questions about trading?
I did ask you a question.
I'm an expert.
Good. We like to invite experts on this finance channel of day trading. And we always like to ask, is it a buy or sell? Should we buy gold or sell gold?
You should buy them.
Buy. But it's not for the wife. It's for investment decisions. Should we buy or sell?
I'm not talking from wife perspective. I'm talking from expert perspective.
Okay. Here's an expert. If you look at the chart, what does it tell you? It's, this is the gold chart on the 4-hour. Currently it's hovering at 1982, $1,982 per troy ounce. And we can't decide whether it's a buy or sell.
Your decision based on what?
So, decision, how I make my analysis, the first thing I look at is always the financial news. What moves the market? What is the macroeconomic perspective? What is the narrative? Market sentiment, fundamentals, economics. And right now, what drives the market, the big news on the street, is the debt ceiling in the US. Have you heard about this issue? No? So basically, the US is about to default on its own debt. But it's not going to happen. It never happened before. But until they come up with a solution, it's going to be a painful, oh, they're going to default kind of story. So gold is always a safe haven asset. When there is a shizzle on the market, investors go and buy gold. This is how they save their money. And until we have a solution, yeah.
And then they say, oops, we solved it. And then boom, market crash.
Yeah, exactly. Tricky.
That's my conspiracy theory,
I definitely think we should buy gold, but not at these levels.
But what would be a good level, Andrew?
I'm already gonna buy from 76.
The problem is we just received a rejection from the area of 84, right?
Oh, I thought it was your what? Who rejected you?
No. No, I mean gold was rejected from 1984.
Oh, okay.
It's just cleared the high. For me personally, I'm still looking at buys around 69, 64 area.
Yeah, on a retracement.
Yeah, especially because yesterday I was in well, I'm still in buys, but it hasn't given us the retracement, the correct retracement. And if you look at it, there is a bit of imbalance.
Yeah, and it could retrace later on, not now, still in the imbalance. It can go up straight like yesterday.
Yeah. So for myself, I'm just trying to be as patient as possible.
Yeah, when there is no news,
Good news.
no solution. If you look at the economic data, there isn't any economic data right now. We have some long and bond rate decision, MBA purchase index. There's not much. We have the Yellen speech. Actually, Government Bailey from Bank of England is the head of the Bank of England, is going to speak about the disappointing inflation data today. And then we have Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen speaking. Now, this is going to be important. But, whenever a lady in finance talks on, to everyone in the media, always be afraid. They are the worst. They can stir the markets.
Market gonna push up.
Oh, for sure. I mean, next thing
Yeah.
you know, we'll see gold move 400 pips.
Yeah, I think that Janet Yellen is going to come out and say, how many of you can remember what did she say last week or the last 3 occasions? Was she always calm, like, oh, I'm sure that Joe Biden is going to solve out this debt issue, everything will be fine? Did you ever hear Janet Yellen saying this?
No.
What did you hear? What did she say?
Wasn't she was certain, wasn't she, last time? I can't remember exact thing she said.
Constitutional crisis. U.S. government risk running out of cash. She always a trash talker. She's like, oh, we're going to default on the debt. So when Yellen is on media, it's not good. When she's having a public speech, she always spooks the markets. But what do we know when the market is scared? Is gold buy or sell?
Gold buy.
Fuck yeah.
But I mean, Thomas, what would you say then? If you were in her position, would you be on her side, saying that debt could default?
That depends. What's the political agenda? Remember that the bank, the central bank or the Fed is completely different than the Treasury. They play 2 separate roles. So it depends what is the agenda. And Treasury is more politically driven because only the central bank is independent. I'm not too sure about the Treasury because I don't have any. I never learned about Treasury, but I learned about the monetary policy. The Treasury, I think it's more politically driven than the central bank. Because central bank is always independent, apart from 2 countries in the world, North Korea and Turkey.
It's weird, isn't it, that she kind of contradicts what Biden says.
Yeah, isn't that what ladies always do? So now we're just going to wait. Don, what was your lovely partner's name? I couldn't catch it.
Genia.
Genia. It's a wonderful name.
Thank you.
I hope you're paying for that dinner and drinks, Don.
As usual.
Pitland, of course.
And now it's a wait-and-see game. So we have another hour and 40 minutes until Miss Yellen is making a public appearance. Perfect example. Do you remember when we had the banking crisis in the US kicked off a couple of months ago? Powell, on the monetary policy side, the Federal Reserve, he said like, yeah, we have a pretty, solid banking system. Everything will be fine. Yellen, on the other hand, she started to freak out. And markets started to panic because she said that, well, I think we're going to see another 2008 type of crisis. So she's always, the negative speaker.
You see, this is what I hear about gold.
What?
She's a little like that girl that you flirt with in the club the whole night, and then she ends up leaving with another man.
Yeah.
You spend all the drinks, all your money on her, and then she ends up saying, sorry, I'm going home with my boyfriend.
Oh yeah, I'm
what kind of experience you have now.
maybe you're going to the wrong places, Andrew.
Oh, you hang out with the wrong people.
No, she's just like a. So, anyway, let's do that. Let's not go down in this route.
Right, guys, I'll have to shoot off for a meeting.
Oh, see you,
no
Bram.
trades. I've got no trades open.
Have a lovely evening.
See you,
I'm licking
Bram.
my wounds. Cheers. Bye, guys. Bye.
See you, mate.
Bye.
So,
Hey, what do you think about stocks, Thomas? Do you see any still on the bearish side? It keeps showing every stock. SP500, West 100, US 30. You should could be yourself for like 2 weeks now.
So, I'm still in the sell on US 30 that we had on Tuesday, Monday.
how many pips is that?
It is. So two positions, cumulative of 674 pips.
Wow.
Yeah, but US 30, it's not much. It could be higher because US 30 has the capability to move thousands of points, tens of thousands of points and thousands of pips within hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've always been afraid of trading US 30 because of the lot sizes and calculating the pips.
Yeah.
It's super volatile as well.
When you click on your MetaTrader, you can determine whether it's a micro lot or mini lot or standard lot.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know.
Yeah. If you go into the symbols, you right-click in it and you go down to specification, and it tells you about the contract size and it tells you about the delta. What is your risk if it moves 1 point? So if it moves 1 point, then you lose $1 or your local currency.
Oh crap, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Look, we learn something new every day.
But you
In it,
do
bruv.
that on MetaTrader or on the broker?
Your MetaTrader, because MetaTrader has the information fed into from your broker about the assets. So going back to answer Andrew's question, do I see any opportunity on US 30? Most likely continue with the sell. Why? Because it's just sitting on a support. And when it does, in a downtrend, do you think that this is a strong support level? looks pretty solid, isn't it? Strong foundation.
Yeah.
But if you look historically, how many times it broke the support in a downtrend? So I would go with a sell on US30. Have a final look on data. We have nothing coming up regarding stocks. We have an hour until New York Stock Exchange open.
In the meantime, gold drop to the 80s.
Oh. It's minus 20 pips running in loss.
Nice. What data do we have tomorrow?
Tomorrow is going to be the second GDP revision for Q1.
Unemployment claims as well.
There's a second review. Really? I didn't know. Really?
Yeah, every single month there is a review. Well, it's I call it a review, but they revised the data depending on statistics. I have a feeling it's going to be a very slow day in terms of trading.
It's one of them patience days. But I agree though with your positions. You're in the right direction. Buys and sells for US30.
I would wait with US30 sell until the market opens.
Yeah. But I completely agree with gold buys.
Don't you think gold will stay on the consolidation until the next Fed interest rate?
Well, we had a rejection on the weekly pivot right now.
Yeah.
Which is why running it's in minus 20 pips. But I have a feeling if you zoom out onto higher time frames, it's all bullish. It's more bullish than bearish, and that's only the technicalities I'm talking about right now. So we could have a sideways movement just before it breaks.
Would you believe I was in gold sells before?
One.
I'll show you. Where is it? I was in from 79 and 78. And then when it shot up, I was just like, okay. I waited, and then now I just took a little loss. Now.
You were, you were in a sell from 79?
Yeah.
Oh. I was in a sell yesterday, and that closed down some profit, but then it just crashed, and I left some positions open, which wasn't lucky, but it caused some loss.
It's part of the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I never before, like, when I first started trading, before I was even in the Alpha FX community, I used to be very focused on the numbers, and my risk management was so poor. But now, when you take losses, especially when it's under your risk management, it doesn't really affect people that much. Well, it doesn't affect me anyways.
That's improvement, a lot.
Yeah, no, it is. It's massive.
Good afternoon, Thomas.
How you doing, brother?
Great.
Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Adam.
How you doing?
Bored.
Yeah, can I ask you something again?
Sure.
But you yesterday actually, no, not that. Yesterday, someone told me that trading is like gambling, which I don't agree. So, what do you think when somebody says something like that to you about those agreements, about those statements? You know.
Show your bank account.
No, it depends. It depends who's trading. If you, what kind of traders do you know? When you look, I guess you've been in trading groups before you joined the Alpha community. You have an idea about what kind of people upload money, deposit money on a bank, on a brokerage account and start trading. Most likely the people who have absolutely fucking no financial or economic experience, right? But even if they have education, it's not guaranteed for success. So those people who, and probably 80% of people who are watching this stream right now, have absolutely no understanding about how financial markets are driven. So when they deposit money on a brokerage account, which they can do in less than 2 minutes, even with the KYC, I know because this is how fucked up the industry is. So when they deposit money and they start trading, they start with a naked chart, right? So that's what you see on a chart. That's what they see on a chart. All they see is when they look in MetaTrader is the money goes up and down, and you know how much money they can potentially make because it's a leveraged account, it's a margin account. So, and then they look at the chart and they, it looks like a buy in it because that's strong support and etc, etc. So the problem is that they have no prior education, they have no experience, and when they approach the market, when they go out to the market, then they look at the economic news, if they even understand, and they say, oh wow, the number is green, there must be better in it. So they start buying the currency, even though green doesn't necessarily means it's good for the currency. So when they do trade is a freaking gambling, 100%, absolutely right. Because
I agree.
Any tool in a person's hand who has no experience can be dangerous.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to some dude. He told me he's trading Tesla. I was asking, do you know MetaTrader or TradingView? What do you use? And he will say, I don't use TradingView. I only trade. I only buy or sell. And how you get your information? So, yeah, just watching the news sometimes. So basically, you're gambling, right? Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm gambling.
But that's, you know, when you're trading stocks, you don't need a chart.
Yeah,
that's a different game. When you trade stocks, you can look at financial statements, you can look at earnings reports, you can look at the company's publications and news and mergers and acquisitions and, you know, what's happening in the backgrounds. You don't need a chart for stock trading, but you can gamble on stocks as well. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, he told me he made like 9,000 euros and then he lost it, and yeah.
Yeah, but why was he trading Tesla? Because he had a massive hype in the past few years. Of course, people are going to invest in something that they know, they've heard about. Crypto was one of the biggest hysteria in the past few decades. I think it's a centuries actually. After the no, it's even bigger than the Black Tulip.
Yeah, I told him I'm in your group, you know, I showed him your website. So, yeah, maybe you have a new member, maybe one day. I don't know.
I don't trade stocks. I did trade stocks when that was my second job as a trader, as a cash equities execution trader. So I made no decisions, but I was executing the trades that was made by the strategist, and they traded stocks, and trust me, it didn't go too well. Luckily, they traded big stocks like Nvidia. They made good money, but stocks, it's just not for me. I like the indices much better. And do you know why I don't like stocks that much? Because I think cherry picking isn't working that much like it did in the 90s and 80s. Finding individual companies, or the 70s even. Finding individual companies, looking at them, that has great potential, good financials, let's invest in it. Yeah, that was good decades ago, but now it isn't good. The reason for this is because if you look at S&P 500, US 30, Nasdaq, name some of the big companies, Adam.
Like Facebook, Meta, or Tesla in that case.
I think ChatGPT is the coming future for investing.
Okay, let me show you something.
Microsoft.
The reason why I hate to trade individual stocks is because some of the companies on the stock market traded publicly are even bigger than whole economies, big countries.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Apple market cap compared to country's GDP. So Italy has 2 trillion euro per annum GDP. Apple is 2.1. So Apple is bigger than Italy, Brazil, Canada? Fuck me. It's huge. This is how big Apple is. Then you have Microsoft. It's bigger than whole of Mexico in terms of, revenue.
Yeah.
Amazon, 1.7 trillion. So when these companies take a dump, everyone will be covered in shit. Without exception. This is why I don't like to trade individual stocks, because there is no hiding. When there is shit hits the fan, there is no hiding. But when you trade indices, it's a different story. You just need to get the market sentiment right. You need to be on the right side of the trades, and you need to have a feel about which direction the whole market is going, and then everything will be fine.
Yeah, but as a normal user, somebody who has no cash flow, like somebody like me, if I'm using FTMO or my Forex funds, I don't know if I can trade stocks there.
You have many options not to buy just cash equities, because cash equities are called cash equities for a reason. You have to pay upfront for the stocks that you buy. Very expensive. Who could afford to buy 1,000 Tesla shares or 1,000 Amazon shares? That would be, it would make you good money, but anything below that, not necessarily. So what other options you have, Adam, to invest in stocks without having to put down that much of capital? You can invest in ETFs. You can trade indices on a margin account. There are many other options if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most important is the knowledge.
Ali Mogadan says options. Yeah, you do have the option to trade options, but I would not recommend anyone to trade options without at least 5 to 10 years experience in financial markets. And that is a fact, because when I used to work at the bank, even the professionals, they lost more money than the initial deposit was. And that is a risk warning. It's a highly, highly risky asset, options, and I do not recommend. Yeah, the thing is that with FX and all of this day trading assets, you can lose the capital that you invested. Yeah, you are adult, you make decisions, you are responsible for decisions. The worst you can lose, if you deposit 10 grand or 100 grand, you can lose it, and that's it. You walk away, lick your wounds, come back next year. But when you trade options, the losses
More.
can eat. I've
More.
seen a guy who lost his whole fucking house
Yeah.
above from his family. There was a Hungarian guy. He traded with the bank.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Especially when the contract expires. Oof.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go your way.
That sucks.
Thomas, he must have been writing options rather than like buying put or call options, because then you've got a loss in terms of the price you pay.
If you're writing out the option, yeah, you can lose money. If
Yeah.
it goes into the very extreme. There was a group of guys in 2016. They traded with OTP Bank. And they wrote out options to one of the least likely scenarios. And the other one happened, not the winning scenario, and they lost quite a bit of money. But the problem is they were selling these options to clients, and the clients were right, they got it wrong, and that's when they lost money. So either way, I think options contracts, it's just not for me. And looking at gold, it isn't going too well now. It's down 40 pips.
Wasn't there that hedge fund that did the options for the
2008.
GameStop and-
Oh. Possible.
And then when the price started going up and it was almost coming to the end of the contract, they realized that they were under big time.
Right. In the meantime, sorry to interrupt, I'm going to close down the upper position on gold because that is now went into a loss which I don't want to feed any further. I'm going to keep the other position, but there is still no news around anything, debt ceiling, how the negotiations are going. So gold is still quite a risky, whether it's a buy or a sell. Going back to TradingView, it looks like that the weekly pivot did work its magic and it rejected. Still, do we have any progress on the debt ceiling? I would just not attempt another sell in gold. There's no guarantee.
Yeah.
And we have the Yellen speech coming up in it's still more than an hour away. US 30 on the other hand, it just doesn't move. Let's have a look on the yields. What was the spike on the 2-year Treasury yield? There's no news.
Can I ask you something about Hungarian language?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not the topic, but is it true that Finland and Hungary, you share the same equal? Not the same, but you can understand Finland.
No, there are a few words which are similar, a few phrases which are similar, but it's not the same language.
Okay.
So I entered into another gold buy.
Thanks for respond.
US 30. So tempted to sell, but we still have 33 minutes until the New York Open. The fuck is this music? Can you hear the music?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, no buying area. Risky trade. Why are we buying gold?
Because there is no.
Because we can fucking can.
And because Thomas said, if you want to triple your account.
Because we fucking can and we fucking do it. No, the reason for this is Yellen is coming up. Let me just go back to MetaTrader. So we have no news, no macroeconomic data, no fundamentals. The only thing that we have, is Janet Yellen, who's going to have a speech today. And Tamir Ali Mogaddan and people who asked about why we're buying gold, ask yourself the question: how much do you know about Janet Yellen?
Sorry, Thomas.
No, not you, but some people on YouTube commented why we're going this risky. They don't know anything about Janet Yellen. Neither do I, but I know a little bit more. And my speculation is that she's going to cause a stir. Because there is no resolution on the debt ceiling, and she wants to push Joe Biden and the other negotiation participants into an agreement. And what is the best way to do this? If you rush them, if you make them feel uncomfortable, if markets starts to crash, if gold starts to rise because it's a safe haven asset, there's another strategy which could lead into successful debt negotiations. But that's only speculation from my end, which isn't, it's better to have a plan and have a speculation than gambling. If you have a plan, it's half gamble then. It's an educated guess. Just had a new 4-hour candle. Time to enter into another buy in gold. Fucking hell. No, I want this one. Why I can't move the stop loss on the second position? I have to do it manually then. Okay, it's the stop loss. 1974. That's it. Here we go. US 30, I'm tempted to enter into sell, but the problem is if you look at the charts, it's just too low to sell, too bearish to buy. Too low to sell. Yet, I love to sell low and buy high. Right. 30 minutes, 27 minutes until New York Stock Exchange open. Entered into another 2 buys on gold. A bit hesitant to enter into sell on US 30 because the market open could bring us some surprise. What are your positions, guys? Buy or sell?
I'm on buy, Thomas.
I'm gonna buy now.
I'm about to buy. I'm still a little bit patient.
Right, Yellen's speech is coming up in 59 minutes. So I think the market is going to be quite boring until we have Janet Yellen on the stage. It's going to move sideways, maybe a little bit of pullback, maybe a spike up, who knows. I'm going to call it a day for now. I will back to my desk in about an hour. If you guys can find a link for the Yellen speech, that's for you members, then we can have a live stream it, just the same way we did with the Powell speech.
Okay.
But Thomas, but Thomas, there I have a question, because it is not like yesterday. It is not quantifiable. I think it is difficult to take decision, right?
No, it's sometimes it's easier, depending who's speaking, depending what they have to say. But how many of you traded Powell speech with me before?
One time I did with you.
I did, yeah.
One time. Many people traded many times with me. It's translating finance to English. You just need to gather whether they're hawkish or dovish, and what is the implication on the monetary policy, and things like that. And it's all done. Then you can, you can determine whether it's a buy or a sell. If Janet Yellen today is going to come out and hit a very cautious tone, a very worried tone that the debt ceiling won't be raised and the US is going to default, it's going to be a buy for gold. If she says that the talks are going okay and well, they're going to come to an agreement, then it's a sell for gold. Simple as that. So anyway,
Got it.
You guys, if you find a link, if there is a live stream, we can tune in. I will think about it. But anyway, for now, I think the market is going to be just boring, moving a bit of sideways. So let's call it today. And tomorrow, we're going to have the GDP data and unemployment claim. That's it. See you all. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Have a good day.
Have a nice one, Thomas. See you soon.
Thank you.